I remember the first time I saw a glucose graph. It looked like a roller coaster. Huge peaks, then sharp drops, all from one little meal. It belonged to a friend of mine, Sarah. She'd been wearing a continuous glucose monitor CGM for a week. She was curious, why did she feel so tired after lunch? Why was she getting cravings 2 hours after a healthy breakfast? What she found surprised both of us. Her morning smoothie, just fruit and almond milk, spiked her blood sugar more than a slice of cake. Her bowl of pasta at lunch, sharp peak, followed by a crash so hard she needed caffeine just to stay awake. And yet, when she changed nothing but the order of her food, starting with a few veggies or protein first, those peaks became soft hills. Her energy returned, her mood stabilized. Her cravings quieted. It felt like magic. But it wasn't magic, it was biology. Today, we're going inside the body. We'll explore what happens after every bite and why the sequence of food matters so much. But don't worry, this isn't a science lecture. This is a walk through the landscape of your body, explained in the simplest way. So let's pull back the curtain and look at what's happening beyond the plate. Part 1. What happens after every bite? A deeper look at digestion. Every time we eat, something remarkable happens inside us. We often don't feel it, don't think about it. But your body starts a carefully orchestrated dance, the digestion and absorption of nutrients. Let's slow it all down for a moment. Imagine you're sitting down with a plate of food, grilled chicken, white rice, and steamed broccoli. The food smells good, you're hungry, and you dig in. You might not notice, but depending on which bite you take first, the entire internal response will be different. If you start with the rice, the fast-digesting carbohydrate, your body quickly breaks it down into glucose. That sugar moves into your bloodstream almost instantly. Your blood sugar shoots up like a rocket. This triggers your pancreas to release insulin in a hurry. Insulin's job is to remove glucose from your blood and push it into your cells to use as energy or store as fat. But when the glucose comes in too quickly, insulin has to respond with force. This often leads to a blood sugar crash shortly after, leaving you tired, hungry, and maybe even a little irritable. Now, rewind the same meal. This time, you start with the broccoli, fiber-rich and slow digesting. Fiber creates a kind of gel in your gut that slows the absorption of everything else that follows. Then you eat the chicken, rich in protein and healthy fats, which also slow digestion. By the time you get to the rice, your body is prepared. Digestion is slower. The glucose enters your bloodstream gradually. No big spike, no crash, just calm, sustained energy. This is how your body was designed to eat. But why does food order affect blood sugar so much? Let's break it down. Fiber, especially from vegetables, forms a natural barrier in your intestines. It's like a soft mesh that slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. Think of it like placing a sponge under a running faucet. It absorbs and delays the flow. When that fiber layer is in place first, your body can handle what comes next more gracefully. Then comes protein and fat. These macronutrients don't spike your blood sugar much on their own, but they do stimulate hormones that tell your brain, hey, I'm getting full. They also slow down stomach emptying, which means the carbs that follow hit your system more gently. Carbs eaten last. Now they arrive in a system that's calm, full, and buffered. This isn't just a theory. Let's look at what happens when people switch their meal order. A study published in Diabetes Care in 2015 compared glucose responses in people who ate the same meal in different sequences. When participants ate vegetables and protein before carbs, their post-meal glucose was nearly 30% lower. Even more stunning, their insulin response was 43% lower. Same meal, just a different order. Even outside the lab, real people are seeing real benefits. Many who adopt this method report more energy after meals, less afternoon fatigue, fewer cravings for sugar, more stable mood. And here's something fascinating: you don't need to be perfect. Even eating just a few bites of vegetables or protein before carbs can start to shift your glucose curve. Let me share a quick story. My friend James used to feel lightheaded every morning around 10:30 a.m. He'd eat a bagel for breakfast on his way to work and sip coffee till his first meeting. I suggested he try something different, eat a boiled egg or a handful of almonds before the bagel. He didn't believe it would matter. But within 3 days, the crash disappeared. No more foggy mornings, no more mid-morning sugar hunts. He still had the bagel, just not first. This shift doesn't require you to remove the foods you love. It just invites you to reframe the experience, putting structure where there was randomness and rhythm where there was reaction. Because the way we eat shapes the way we feel. Food order is a small doorway into a calmer, more stable version of ourselves. A version that's not ruled by hunger, crash, or cravings, but led by care, attention, and a bit of science. In the next part, we'll meet the hormone at the heart of all of this. Insulin, your quiet, hardworking partner in balance. Let's continue. Part 2, insulin, your body's unsung hero. If blood sugar is the wave, then insulin is the surfer, gracefully navigating, responding, adjusting. It's one of the most essential hormones in the human body, and yet, many of us don't truly understand what it does, how it works, or why it matters so much. Let's change that. Insulin is produced by the pancreas, a small organ located just behind your stomach. It's released into your bloodstream every time your blood sugar rises, usually after a meal, especially one that contains carbohydrates. Its job is simple but vital: to unlock the doors of your cells so glucose can enter. Once inside, your cells use that glucose for energy. Think of insulin as a delivery service. Without it, glucose would build up in your bloodstream with nowhere to go, causing all sorts of problems. This delivery system works beautifully when things are balanced. But when we eat too many fast-digesting carbs, or eat carbs first and in isolation, we create chaos. Here's what happens. 1. Blood sugar spikes rapidly. 2. The pancreas releases a flood of insulin. 3. Glucose is shuttled into the cells quickly, sometimes too quickly. 4. Blood sugar drops rapidly, the infamous crash. 5. The body panics, causing hunger, cravings, and even irritability. 6. And often, we eat again, especially something sweet, to bring sugar back up. This constant cycle of spikes and crash puts incredible stress on your pancreas. Over time, your cells can become resistant to insulin's signal. This condition is known as insulin resistance, and it's at the heart of many chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes, obesity, polycystic ovary syndrome (PCOS), cardiovascular disease. But even if you don't have a chronic illness, insulin resistance affects your quality of life. You may notice constant fatigue, trouble losing weight, mood swings, brain fog, hormonal imbalances. And here's the kicker: it can start years before any diagnosis. That's why prevention, or early support for your insulin system, is so important. So how do we support insulin? We start by supporting its rhythm. And food order is one of the simplest, most natural ways to do that. When you eat fiber-rich vegetables and protein first, the rise in blood sugar is more gradual. This gives insulin time to respond gently without being overwhelmed. There's no mad dash to fix a spike. Instead, it's a steady handoff of glucose, one molecule at a time. It's like asking insulin to walk, not sprint. Let's look at an example. Two people eat the same dinner: grilled chicken, sautéed spinach, and mashed potatoes. Person eats the mashed potatoes first. Person B eats the spinach first, then the chicken, and saves the potatoes for last. Person experiences a steep rise in blood sugar within 20 minutes, followed by a crash an hour later. They feel drowsy and crave sugar. Person B sees a moderate, gentle rise in blood sugar with no crash. They feel satisfied, steady, and alert. Same food, different order, different result. Scientific studies support this too. One 2015 study published in Diabetes Care found that when participants ate vegetables and protein before carbohydrates, their insulin levels were 43% lower after the meal. That's nearly half the hormonal effort for the same outcome. Insulin isn't your enemy, it's your quiet ally. It wants to help you use food for energy, not store it as fat. It wants your brain to be clear, your muscles to be strong, and your cravings to be calm. But like any hardworking friend, it needs a bit of support. That's where food order becomes so powerful. It's not just a trick to flatten your glucose curve, it's a tool to give insulin space to do its job with grace. Even small shifts make a big difference. Try starting lunch with a handful of greens. Eat your eggs before your toast, munch a few nuts before dessert. These moments may seem insignificant, but they create a ripple effect throughout your entire hormonal system. Over time, you'll notice you're fuller for longer, you snack less, you have more energy between meals, you feel calmer, more in control. And all of it comes not from restriction, but from rhythm. Insulin doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for partnership. In the next part, we'll talk about what happens when insulin gets overwhelmed, those dramatic blood sugar spikes that leave us on an emotional and physical roller coaster. Let's explore how to get off that ride for good. Part 3, Glucose Spikes, the roller coaster you can avoid. Let's take a moment to talk about the highs and lows, the true roller coaster of blood sugar that many of us ride without even realizing it. Glucose spikes. They sound harmless enough, but they're at the root of why we feel exhausted after meals, why our cravings feel uncontrollable, and why long-term health can quietly unravel. But first, let's define it clearly. A glucose spike is a rapid rise in your blood sugar level after eating, usually caused by consuming carbohydrates, especially when they're eaten alone or first. Imagine this: you eat a large bowl of white rice on an empty stomach. Within 20 to 30 minutes, your blood sugar skyrockets. You feel temporarily energized, maybe even a little euphoric. But what comes next? A sharp drop in blood sugar. That drop can feel like a wave of fatigue, brain fog, hunger, or even anxiety. You crave something sweet or cobby, again your body's way of trying to restore balance. So you eat more and the cycle repeats. This is the glucose roller coaster, and even if you eat healthy, you might be riding it without knowing. How glucose spikes affect your body. Let's zoom in a bit more. When your blood sugar spikes quickly, your pancreas releases a large amount of insulin to lower it. But this overcompensation often results in a crash. Here's what that crash does. Energy drops. You might feel suddenly tired or sleepy. Mood shifts. You may get cranky, anxious, or even sad for no clear reason. Cognitive fog. Your brain feels slower. Decision-making becomes harder. Hunger returns. Even if you just ate, you feel empty and want to eat again. Now imagine going through this 3 times a day, every day. It's not just unpleasant. Over time, it contributes to weight gain, especially around the belly, chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, premature aging of cells and skin, insulin resistance. This is why avoiding spikes matters even if you're not diabetic. Your body functions better when blood sugar stays in a smooth, gentle wave, not a steep peak and crash. The emotional roller coaster. There's a psychological side too. Spikes and crashes can mimic symptoms of anxiety. One minute you feel fine, the next your heart races, your hands are shaky, and you're overwhelmed. It's easy to think something is wrong with you emotionally when in fact, your blood sugar may just be crashing. Many people don't realize that the emotional swings they're experiencing are biological. Flattening your glucose curve can lead to improved mood stability, fewer anxious or depressive episodes, better focus and decision-making. It's not just about how your body feels, it's about how your mind functions. You don't have to give up carbs. This is where a lot of advice goes wrong. People hear about glucose spikes and think, I need to stop eating bread, pasta, or fruit. But that's not the message here. You don't have to give up carbs, you just have to cushion them. And that's where food order changes everything. If you eat a bowl of pasta by itself, you'll likely spike. But if you start the meal with a leafy green salad dressed with olive oil, followed by some grilled chicken or tofu, and eat the pasta last, you dramatically flatten the curve. Same meal, same portion, different sequence, different result. One 2020 study showed that when participants consumed vegetables before carbohydrates, their glucose response was significantly lower by as much as 40%. Even the same food can be metabolized differently depending on what comes before it. Real-life example, Emily's energy makeover. Emily, a 28-year-old graphic designer, used to crash hard at 3 p.m. every day. She'd eat oatmeal and fruit for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and then by mid-afternoon, she was foggy and craving sweets. She tried cutting out carbs entirely, but felt restricted and moody. When she learned about food sequencing, she didn't change what she ate, only how she ate it. She started breakfast with a boiled egg and spinach sautéed in olive oil. Then she had her oatmeal. At lunch, she ate a small salad and turkey slices before her sandwich. Within a week, she stopped crashing. Her energy stayed consistent. Her sweet cravings faded without effort. It felt like unlocking a secret, she said. I didn't have to give anything up, I just had to switch the order. Flatten the curve, steady the life. Glucose spikes aren't just numbers on a graph. They're the reason you might feel great after eating and terrible an hour later. But the solution doesn't require diets, fads, or extremes. It just asks you to slow down, to structure your meal with a little more intention. Start with fiber vegetables. Then eat protein and healthy fats, finish with carbs. Even if you don't do it perfectly, every step in this direction matters. You'll notice the difference in your focus, your appetite, your mood, and your long-term health. In the next part, we'll look at what this looks like in real life with actual graphs and real examples of how food order changes everything. Let's keep going. Part 4, real graphs, real changes, seeing is believing. Sometimes, it's not enough to hear about science, you have to see it. Visual proof can be incredibly powerful. That's why continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, are changing the way we understand nutrition. These tiny wearable devices track your glucose in real time, offering a visual map of your body's internal response to food. Let's walk through what the data shows when someone simply changes the order in which they eat. Nothing else. Case study, same meal, different order. Meet Julian. He's 38, works in IT, and recently began experimenting with a CGM out of curiosity. On day 1, he had a classic lunch, chicken, rice, and sautéed vegetables. But he ate the rice first, then the chicken, then the veggies. Here's what happened. His blood sugar spiked from 90 milligrams DL to 165 milligrams DL within 30 minutes. He felt great for a short while, but by 2 p.m., he was sluggish, foggy, and craving something sweet. On day 3, he ate the exact same meal, but reversed the order. First the vegetables, then the chicken, lastly, the rice. This time, his glucose peaked at only 120 milligrams DL, no crash, no cravings. He couldn't believe it. I thought food quality was everything, but I didn't know order mattered this much, he said. Now, I feel like I have control without giving up any of my favorite foods, and Julian isn't alone. What CGMs reveal about food order? CGMs are giving researchers and everyday users new insights. In multiple observational studies, participants who ate vegetables or protein before carbs consistently showed lower glucose peaks by 30 to 50% on average. A Japanese study found that when people ate salad first before rice and meat, their post-meal glucose was reduced significantly compared to eating the rice first. Even something as simple as eating a handful of almonds before a slice of cake produced a dramatically flatter glucose curve. Why does this happen? Let's revisit the key principles. Fiber vegetables slows digestion and glucose absorption. Protein and fat delay gastric emptying and increase satiety hormones. Carbohydrates, when eaten last, arrive in a system that's already primed to handle them more gently. It's not magic, it's physiology. Real story, Lydia's 14-day food order experiment. Lydia is 45, a school principal, and a self-professed carb lover. She wasn't looking to lose weight, she just wanted to stop feeling tired after meals. She wore a CGM for 2 weeks and tracked her meals, logging how she felt after each one, her normal eating style. Carbs first, toast before eggs, pasta before salad. Her glucose readings looked like jagged mountains. In week 2, she flipped the order, vegetables or salad first. Protein and fat second, carbs last. Her CGM data transformed. The mountains became hills, the crash disappeared. Most importantly, her mood improved. "I used to hit a wall after lunch like clockwork," she said, "but now I feel balanced. I feel awake, like my body isn't working so hard to stay steady." And this didn't just affect her physically, it gave her a sense of confidence and self-trust. "I'm not restricting, I'm not following a diet. I'm just paying attention to how I eat, and it's working." Visualizing the curve, a simple example, imagine two line graphs side by side. In the first, the curve spikes to the top, then drops sharply like a heart monitor in distress. In the second, the curve rises slowly, gently peaks, and glides back down, same meal, different order. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. Every meal is a chance to shape your curve toward this second line. If you've ever struggled with food cravings, fatigue, or brain fog after eating, this visual can be incredibly empowering. You don't need more willpower, you need less chaos in your blood sugar. And seeing that change, whether through a monitor or how your body feels, is one of the most motivating things you can experience. What if you don't have a CGM? Not everyone has access to a glucose monitor, and that's okay. You can still tune into the signs your body gives you. Do you feel sleepy after eating? Do you crave sugar within an hour of a meal? Do you get irritable or anxious when hungry? If the answer is yes to any of these, your blood sugar might be spiking and crashing. And the order in which you eat could be the key to softening those swings. Try this for a week. Start each meal with a few bites of veggies. Add your protein and fat. Save your starch or sweets for the end. Then notice, do you stay full longer? Do you need fewer snacks? Is your energy more stable? You may be surprised how powerful this simple tweak can be. Food order is a form of self-compassion. Sometimes we think wellness has to be hard, complicated, or all or nothing. But food order is none of those things. It's quiet, it's gentle, it's supportive. You're not giving up your favorite dishes, you're just giving your body a better chance to handle them. And in return, your body gives you more energy, clarity, and calm. This isn't a rule to follow, it's a rhythm to embrace. Like brushing your teeth or drinking water, eating in the right order can become a small, everyday act of care. A message to your body that says, "I'm on your side." In the final part of this episode, we'll bring it all together. We'll reflect on the key lessons and preview what's coming next in this journey. You've come so far already, let's finish strong. Part 5, Closing Reflection and What's Next. So here we are at the end of this journey through the science of blood sugar told gently, one plate at a time. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We explored what happens after every bite and how the simple act of changing your meal sequence can transform how your body processes food. We learned about insulin, the quiet, hardworking hormone behind the scenes doing its best to keep you balanced. We uncovered the truth about glucose spikes and how those post-meal crashes aren't about willpower, they're about physiology. We saw how real people, like Julian and Lydia, changed nothing but food order and experienced more energy, fewer cravings, and more emotional stability. And perhaps most importantly, we reframed health not as something rigid or restrictive, but as something rhythmic, something soft, something that flows. Eating in the right order isn't about control, it's about care. It's about working with your body, not against it. It's about honoring your biology while still enjoying the meals you love. How you can begin or continue. If you're new to this, start simple. Add a handful of veggies before your main meal. Eat protein first, carbs last. Don't aim for perfection, just aim for a pause. And if you've already been experimenting, celebrate the little victories. A meal that didn't leave you crashing, a moment of mental clarity after lunch. A sweet craving that didn't shout as loudly. These are signs of a body that's being listened to. They're signs of progress, a gentle invitation. Health isn't a destination. It's a relationship. With your body, with your plate, with your habits. So as you move through the rest of your day or week, try bringing a little more presence to your meals. Eat slowly, eat in order, eat with care. And notice how your body responds. What's coming next? Episode 4, The Hidden Impact of Snacking. In our next episode, we're diving into a topic that affects nearly all of us, snacking. We'll explore why constant grazing might be silently disrupting your blood sugar. How to snack smarter, not less. The role of snack timing in glucose stability. Easy food combinations that minimize spikes between meals. It's not about cutting out snacks, it's about bringing the same gentle rhythm we've used for meals into every bite we take. So stay tuned, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and come along for the next step in this journey toward steadier energy, deeper nourishment, and a kinder way to eat. Until then, be well, eat gently, and know that you're doing something meaningful with every mindful bite. You've got this.